Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a topic that is absolutely crucial, the necessity of professional networks. I am so thrilled you're here with me because we are going to tackle a concept that has literally taken over the creative and consulting worlds. Okay, let's just get right into it. Today, we're going to thoroughly debunk the highly romanticized idea of the solopreneur. We're going to look at the stories, the facts, and the undeniable reality that true independent success actually demands a massive, highly skilled team. By the end of this, you're going to walk away with a completely different perspective on what it really takes to build an empire today. So you've undoubtedly heard the word before, right? The solopreneur. It's defined as an independent person building an empire and a personal brand entirely on their own in the modern creative economy. It paints this picture of a heroic, almost mythical freelancer, basically wearing a cape, conquering the business world, totally solo. And it sounds incredibly appealing. Complete independence, complete control over your own destiny. But I have to give you a much-needed reality check here. This is a myth. Pure and simple. The idea that you can build a thriving, scalable business totally isolated in a vacuum without any outside help, it's a complete fiction. Nobody actually does it alone. Literally no one can know absolutely everything. And, as we're about to see, trying to do every single thing yourself is actually the fastest possible way to hit a ceiling. All right, moving into section 1, the solopreneur myth. If we trace the cultural evolution of how we view independent business, think back to about 25 years ago. With the advent of the tech boom, the term entrepreneur exploded into popular culture. Now, this era was really defined by software developers securing heavy venture capital funding, creating a service, and then trying to exit in just a matter of months to become multimillionaires. It birthed this really intense hustle mentality, the idea of building a giant empire in a super short period through pure brilliance and just endless hours. Then, fast forward to about a decade ago. The economy shifted. We saw the rise of the consulting and creative economy. People started developing personal brands around their specific expertise. And that tech bro entrepreneur label, it evolved into the solopreneur for these individual creators. But as we look at today, we really have to face the music. The reality of independent work is not solo at all. It is highly, highly collaborative. That brings us to section 2. You cannot do it all. Let's look at a real-world case study drawn directly from Philip Van Dusen. Philip had a storied 20-plus-year career working in-house for big corporate marketing and design departments, as well as branding agencies. Basically, working for the man. Now, in the corporate world, you have the absolute safety of specialized roles, a perfectly protected scope of work, and entire departments handling different functions for you. But about 4 years ago, Philip stepped out to start his own virtual flexible consultancy, and the script completely flipped. Suddenly, to build his personal brand working for himself, he had to develop a web presence, a social media presence. He had to create YouTube content, launch his Brand Design Masters podcast, write his Brand Muse newsletter for 4 years straight, and on top of that, develop a coaching practice, mentorship programs, and digital courses. The sheer volume of output required to just exist as an independent personal brand is mind-blowing. To actually execute all those deliverables, the learning curve is unbelievably steep. Suddenly, you aren't just a designer or consultant anymore. Now, you have to master email marketing. You have to master content development, social media marketing, advanced networking on a scale you never even had to attempt in the corporate world. It is a rapid-fire, overwhelming barrage of new skills required just to get a personal brand and an agency off the ground. Frankly, if you try doing this totally alone, you are going to drown. So let's pivot to section 3, scaling with outside help. To actually survive and, more importantly, to scale, Philip requires a densely packed roster of specialist partners and subcontractors just to run his flexible consultancy and create his content. Keep in mind, this is a business without a lot of full-time employees or a brick-and-mortar space, scaling up and down based strictly on client work. In marketing and content, he relies heavily on copywriters, photographers, voice talent just for his podcast intro, video editors for YouTube, and experts in Facebook ads and content repurposing. On the technical and financial side, he's utilizing web developers, e-commerce setup specialists, financial accountants, and periodic design assistants to help build out case studies. And in strategy and support, he participates in a weekly mastermind group just to set goals and stay accountable, a paid mastermind community, plus user research people and strategists for client work. You simply cannot scale without a massive web of outside help. It takes a village. And you know what the ultimate irony is here? Despite relying on this massive web of web developers, podcast audio editors, accountants, and paid mastermind groups to scale, outsiders looking at this massive operation would still mistakenly label it a one-person business. It is the furthest thing from it. That label is just a shorthand that completely masks the massive collaborative engine running underneath.
Which leads perfectly into Section 4, building your professional network.
Listen to this quote very closely. You can't do it all. You can't know it all. And certainly you cannot scale once you get going without outside help. This isn't just some clever business tactic. This is a vital career safety net. When the economy gets hammered, like we saw during the global crisis where millions of people faced layoffs, modified schedules, and immense struggles, having a network to lean on is literally everything. If you lose your job and you have to start moving into independent work, a pre-existing network is exactly what separates those who sink from those who scale. So let's turn this into an actionable plan for you. You need to start developing a diverse portfolio of subject matter experts right now. You're creating an archive of specialists you can utilize when you eventually move into consulting or freelancing. Step 1. Reach out directly. Use email, social media, or even a quick video message. Just make the connection. Step 2. Be specific. Ask your colleagues for targeted introductions. Say something like, hey, do you know someone who does motion design? Or can you introduce me to a great copywriter? Step 3. Keep it low pressure. Set up a brief Zoom or a quick phone call. Introduce yourself, learn a little bit about what they do, and let them learn what you do. The whole goal is that you are building partnerships and friendships way before you ever actually need to hire them. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a hard look at the projects you're struggling with right now. Look at the bottleneck in your own growth. Who is the first specialist you need to add to your network today? Stop trying to be a solopreneur. Stop trying to survive alone. Get out there, send that email, make that connection, and start building the network that will actually allow you to build your empire. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.